Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Take. Got Lucha Lebe Oi, Sean, myself, Ryu. Tyler's not here. It's all right. The show must go on without him. But before it goes on, give a shout out to OC Hard Hitters over Spoons at the 55 Freeway in Dyer. Go see them. Diehard Cowboy fans. Some good beer, some good food. Also, if you want some good beer, some good food, Chapman Brewery for Chapman and Glassell in the city of Orange. Go see Randy. Tell him we sent you. He'll take care of you. Let's go. I'll usually say that we got a good one for you, but we don't have. I don't want to say a good one for you. We just got a show for you because there's nothing good about the last game that we played. It was
nothing good. All right.
Nothing. I can't say there's anything good about it. I mean, there was nothing good about it. So, without further,
you did say one thing good though. You said Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons is good every week, but overall team, nothing. Without further ado, we're going to get started, and I'm just going to go start with Sean. I'm going to get your overall thoughts about the game in general. I'm dying to hear you guys' overall thoughts. Go ahead, Sean.
Overall thoughts is I was stunned last week from our win. I'm stunned this week from the loss. Wasn't expecting this at all. It looked like a total different team out there. It's just you can't, as a defensive coach, you can't have your defense out there that long, man. And there's been many times where sometimes punting is good, and in this case, punting should have been good. We should have punted the ball. As a defensive coordinator, you're probably looking at your offensive coordinator. I know I have a bit and said, dude, punt the ball. Don't put me in this situation if we don't make it. And defense got put in a lot of situations, and it's just we'll get into defense and offense a little later, but overall perspective is just that it was a lackadaisical, no energy type of game. It wasn't a hype. They weren't all hyped up. They weren't. It was just like it's like they came in expecting to rout the Broncos. This is the NFL. You don't come in expecting to rout anybody. They still got talent back there. I know they're struggling, and they did good the first half of their schedule. The second half of their schedule, they sucked. I think Cowboys came in thought that they were just going to blow them out, and there was no energy there. The pregame didn't look like it was. They were hyped up like usual. Dak seemed a little timid even in the beginning, so it just didn't start off very good at all. My overall assessment was just they were underprepared.
Yeah.
Well, what say you, Lucha Libre Joy? Go.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Sean. I just didn't see the energy, and I blame a lot of it on McCarthy. He just did not have these guys ready to play. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to blame the fault on him because he didn't have these guys ready, and they didn't look ready. They looked flat. And Dak, what I heard, he didn't even practice all week. Even when he was healthy, they said, he still fucking had the you can tell a lot of the throws that Dak makes all the time. He was just off. He was rusty. And I'm not going to just blame totally on Dak, but overall, the whole team energy was just not there. It was just I don't know, man. I was just very disappointed, man, because normally they're hyped up and they just look very flat to me, man.
My overall thoughts is, number one, they're flat, like Sean said, but when you start to get overconfident, you just think you can beat anybody, which is sometimes a good thing and it's a bad thing. In this case, it was a bad thing. And then you start going for it on fourth downs, and that's one of my questions a little later, but you start feeling yourself a little too much, and you just think you can have a regular week of practice or bad, because I heard they didn't have a good week of practice. And that's because of coaching. That's because of players, because they think we're 6-1 at the time, and we could just walk in our own stadium, our home field, and Denver's. I think they lost the last 3 out of 4, whatever it was, and we're just gonna walk all over them. So that's my overall thoughts.
Go ahead, Ryan. I also agree with you on that. What you told me, like you were saying, look, I don't mind us going for it on fourth, but why on the second time? Why not kick the field goal? You know what I mean? Just kick it. I mean, I don't mind going for it one time, but The
Let me ask you this,
time,
Sean.
we don't get nothing.
Sean, let me ask you this real quick. Didn't like I don't know about 20 seconds ago? Didn't I say we are going to get into that? And this guy jumps forward again. I swear I did,
was
right?
making a point, asshole.
I rewinded when I watched the show, but I just got to tell you that we're going to go through it, dude.
All right, man. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, we didn't get the agenda, dude.
There is no agenda. This is just improv. This is improv, man. This is improvisation. This is no script. But yeah, overall thoughts is flat, and we were feeling ourselves a little too much, and maybe it was a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Maybe we got a little bit of what humble pie, as they say. Yeah. We got humbled a little bit there. Hopefully that was the case. And I know, Sean, you're not a big offensive guy. You're more on the defense. But what I didn't watch the game live, and thank God I didn't, because I was driving home from somewhere, and I recorded the game and I watched it, and I just kept fast forwarding it because they kept scoring and scoring. I was like, this is crazy. But because I couldn't stand watching. What happened? I watched the first half, and then I just couldn't watch anymore. I watched some of the second half. I didn't watch the two garbage time, empty calorie touchdowns we got. I don't even know. I think Carter caught the touchdowns. I don't know. That's what I heard.
I didn't even see it either.
What happened on offense, Sean?
On offense, it's just I don't think they were prepared. And you know what? It has to do with the Broncos defense too. What did the Broncos defense do? Absolutely nothing. They played a soft cover 2. They played a read and react defense, which we did last week. And that stumbled Dak a little bit because he was seeing the soft cover 2, not too much man to man. And it was I think it was bothering him a little bit. They kept it real simple, just like we did last week, and which we didn't do this week as far as defensively, but offensively, Denver's hats off to Denver's defense. They didn't do a lot of stunts. They didn't do they didn't try too hard to beat the Cowboys. They let the Cowboys come to them and let the Cowboys make mistakes. And I kind of like the way that Denver came in. You got the top offense coming into, going into their house. You would think that they're trying to drum up a bunch of different schemes and different looks and all this stuff, but they didn't. It was really nice to see. They played a soft cover 2. Every once in a while they mix things up, but mainly it was that soft cover 2. Allow nothing deep, allow nothing through the middle, and it really, and drop balls. I mean, sometimes we can't blame Dak all the time because sometimes those throws were there on crucial times and we just dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. As a receiver, I haven't seen that as for the Cowboys yet, but these guys dropped the ball, so they are human. So
hey, Sean, did you notice they were putting a lot of 8-man fronts up front? Did you notice that they were putting a lot of guys up front to stop the run?
Yeah, every once in a while they would do that, but then they would show 8-man and then they would drop back.
Yeah.
So they would mix it up, something like that a little bit. But with Zeke having 51 yards, they did something good. Front, and they even stopped Zeke with the 4-man front, so they didn't need the 8-man front. So it was it was just all around. Like you said, the offense wasn't hyped up. Dak didn't have them ready. The coaches didn't have them ready. Like Ryan said earlier, I just think they took the Broncos too lightly.
Plus, still going to left tackle. That messed with his head. He didn't do well either at all. He was getting beat a lot, I saw. That game. Even Collins was getting beat on the right side.
I mean, how many times were their defensive linemen past our line of scrimmage into the backfield?
God. Into the backfield every time.
Yeah.
Well, what's your assessment of the offense, Oy? Lucha Libre Joy? What happened in offense? I'd like to get everybody's opinion. Like, what happened? What are your thoughts?
I think with the offense, first of all, I start like I just said right now. I just think it had to start first with Tyron Smith being out too a little bit, and then we had to move our right tackle to left. He wasn't used to it, so those adjustments they had to make, and they didn't make good adjustments at all because obviously he was getting beat through the whole game, and so was Collins. I'll give Collins the benefit of the doubt. He's been out for a while. He has to get himself into football shape. I get it, but even him was still awful too, and even when they went with the passing, I mean, it seems like the plays were there. It's just that every time Dak was throwing it, he was just a little off every time. Like most of the plays that he makes, the throws he makes are imprecise. Dude, they were just off by a little bit every time, man. he just couldn't get comfortable at all during the whole game. He just looked kind of frustrated to me. Like even when he went out on the fucking sidelines, you could tell when he's all looking at the script, you could tell in that look in his eye, dude. He just didn't have that fire in him. Like not just him, it's just everybody, man. It just everything looked out of place, man. Like they just weren't ready.
Yeah.
Even CD, all the receivers, man. Like they just weren't concentrating on the ball. A lot of them were dropping balls. I mean, God, dude.
My overall thoughts were, besides the drop balls, that's obvious. Why we put Terrence Steele in left tackle, because people got to understand when you're a right tackle, your first step was with your right leg to the outside. So you're used to doing that. So when you move to left tackle, you're used to having your first step being your right foot. And now his first step has to be his left foot. Yeah. And that's why he was getting beat around the edge way too easy. So I thought you should have put in Ty. I don't know his last. I keep on getting butchering his last name, but I think it's Naseki.
Naseki, yeah.
Yeah, I think he should have been left tackle because he was there the game before when Smith got hurt, and he's our swing tackle, so he's a little used to that. So I don't know why they put Terrence Steele there, and I think they're going to do it again this week. Maybe he'll do better. But also, when Dak didn't practice all week, get him in rhythm, get him some bubble screens, get him some quick passes. When you put him in a 5-step drop, and when you have your right tackle playing left tackle, and you're getting too much pressure, you should be doing bubble screens. You should be doing a 3-step drop. You should be get him in rhythm, and they didn't do that. And then
it wasn't Moore's best play.
No, and then what happened to the wishbone that we had last week? Remember we had the two big offensive linemen in the back. What happened? We saw that last week. We were like, oh, that's different. That's awesome. We love it. We were running. It was working. And then this week, what happened to it? Like you just abandoned it, especially when they put 8 in the box. Then you're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm gonna fight fire with fire. And if I'm gonna put, you're gonna put 8 in the box, and I'm gonna add, I'm gonna add the wishbone. I'm gonna add 2 big hogs back there to lead block. But Moore didn't do that. So
I wonder how much of it the shifting of the offensive line had to do with Moore's play calling too. You gotta wonder that too.
I don't want to put all the blame on Moore, but every week we're talking about he did a good job. He did a good job. I don't think he did such a good job this week when Dak's struggling, and we'll get into the 4th downs right here. Like Tyler's not here, and I wish he was because him and I were arguing about it. When it's 4th and 1 from midfield, it was actually on their 40. I can understand. I would rather punt it, but it's one of those cases where it's too long for a field goal, too short for a punt, right? So you go for it on 4th and 1. Okay, I get it. But we're on our own 20, and it's 4th and not 1, not inches, 4th and 2. And you have a chip shot 37-yard field goal that you're probably going to make to go up 3-0. That's momentum for us. And you go for it on 4th and 2. Now, granted, he was open and Dak just threw a bad ball, and he was scored. Right? If you watch the replay, he was gone. He was going to score. Wilson was going to score a touchdown, but take the 3 points. Like it's 4th and 2, and then so what happens when you don't make that? You didn't make it on 4th and 1. So then and then the 4th and 2 you don't make it. So now you're kind of like it's like a little demoralizing for your team. Like shit, we can't get 2 yards, we can't get 1 yard, and we're this high-powered offense. That's what I'm talking about. You're feeling yourself a little too much, thinking we can get every 4th down, and you're being way too aggressive. And like I said,
and too, Ryan, you didn't like it either, huh? You didn't.
Oh, I hated it. The 4th and 2 one, I hated it.
Too? I didn't like the calls that Moore had on those two.
I just thought you should have kicked the field. What do you think, Sean? I think we should have kicked the field goal when we were on our own 20, 37-yarder?
That's a given in the NFL.
Yeah.
You take the points, right? And then you get a little bit up. And then it also, keeps your defense off the field. Your defense has got to go right back in after you freaking missed it. At least you kick a field goal, then you get a kickoff, and then defense gets more rest. Defense is just out there, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a bad decision on McCarthy. I don't want to say it was a bad call more because McCarthy says they're going to go for it. We haven't got 2 yards. We weren't rushing very well, so I understand the call on Moore because he was open or just a bad throw. But that's McCarthy's fault for trying to go for it on 4th and 2. Like
I see T's point though, right? I know what you guys were arguing about because I heard you guys, but reading what you put, I mean, he does have a point where he says like, I get it. He's confident in our offense that they're going to make 1 yard or whatever like that. But the thing is, I get what you're saying too. Is like, okay, do it one time, but not 2 times in a row. I get
not
it.
when you have a chip shot field goal. Not when you have
Yeah, and
when you can get 3 points. And
exactly.
and
Also, when you're a defensive coordinator on the other side and you know the Cowboys go for it consistently on fourth down, are you going to drum up defenses specifically for that fourth down play that you know they're going to go for?
yeah.
Of course. That's what they did.
And Denver's defense is pretty damn good. Even with
Oh,
Von Miller, without Von Miller going into the game, they were ranked, I think, in the top 10. They're pretty good.
But I think that's why they were so vanilla, because Von Miller wasn't in the game, so they didn't want to do all these stunts. They were kind of cautious, and it paid off for them.
Yeah, it did.
No, yeah.
It was a hell of a game.
I completely agree. It was bad all around coaching. But I think hopefully it's a little bit of, like I said, a humble pie. And
then now that we're talking about offense, why keep Dak on the field in the fourth quarter?
Exactly.
I think it was one of those pride things that they don't want to get shut out. You know what I mean? I think that's all it was. They don't want to get shut out.
Plus, he's trying to get some rust off him too. He's been out 3 weeks, so I think.
Well, I heard the excuse that they wanted to work on their 2-minute offense. Well, how do you put in Carter on your 2-minute offense? Is that exactly. You guys?
They took out the receivers and put in the second the backups, and so if you're working on your 2-minute, then you want to have your starters working on that shit. So I don't think it was that. I think it was more they don't want to get shut out, and I think that's what it was. It is what it is. But Sean is defensive guy.
It was Malik Turner that scored those.
Yeah, Turner's the one that scored. Yeah.
Turner.
Yeah. Good for him. I'm glad he scored a couple touchdowns. I'm glad we didn't get shut out, but it's not one of those things. It would have been like take Dak out. I would have been completely fine with it. I don't want to get shut out. Nobody wants to get shut out, but if we did, and you took Dak out, I would have been all right with it because you don't want to.
Well, plus he built for that. Maybe he can build that off that momentum. Him scoring those last couple touchdowns. I mean, just get the rust out of him.
I don't believe in that because that's empty calories. That's garbage time, dude. They're basically saying the game's over.
Yeah, Ryan, but I get it. But still, you got to understand he's been out 3 weeks. You even said it yourself. You had to get some rust off him, dude.
Yeah, but he had 3.5 quarters to get the rust off him. He got the rust off him.
I get it, man. But he needed the work, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I was saying, though, if he would have got hurt, then you'd be saying something different. You'd be like, why the hell was he in there?
Of course I would. But the thing is, I understand why they did it, too. You know what I mean? He's getting the rust off him, dude. He's been out 3 weeks.
It's a chance that I wouldn't have took.
Chance you don't. Yeah, that's a chance you don't take, dude. That's just crazy. Well, anyways, then we'll get to defense because Sean's a defensive guy. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you on offense. What the hell happened on defense?
You know what? Dan Quinn went from very vanilla offense to all of a sudden a different type of scheme. You saw from defense, to a different type of scheme. You saw an aggressive defense, stunts, blitzes, all kinds of stuff, and it was working. It was working really good in the first quarter. I think it was 3 and out, and we stopped them a couple times, and it was working. But when the offense doesn't give you any rest time, the defense has got to keep going out and keep going out and keep going out. That's a problem. But when you notice that your offense isn't giving you the time on a defense, why you keep stunning? Why you keep doing all this stuff? You're going to tire these guys out. I saw guys in there that I didn't even see all year in there. Like like Hamilton was in there. I haven't seen him in there for a while. We're exchanging guys because they were tired. And when your offense is struggling, one blitz takes a lot out of a player because he goes all out, and one stunt going from one end all the way to the other, to the middle, that tires these guys out. And I just think after a while, they just got too tired because the offense couldn't produce. But I just wish Dan Quinn would have noticed it earlier and went back to the soft defense that we had going, in the last game. It was perfect. But I just think that, I don't know if it was a case of sometimes defensive coordinators want to get recognition, right? So all the players got the recognition last game, right? They balled out, they did good defense, all this stuff. It was nothing about the scheme. There was nothing about how Dan Quinn did, whatever. I don't know if you get in your head as defense coordinator and say, okay, I'm going to turn it up this time. We're going to do a totally different defense. We're going to do this, because I want to be mentioned as a scheme defense. I don't know if it was part of that, but, it was just all around. The defense can't be on the field too much. And if you punt the ball, sometimes that helps the defense out. I understand where you're in that predicament where it's, you almost have to go for it sometimes. But we got a good punter. We got a punter that can place it from the, knock him back to the 10 to the 5, maybe even pin him back even more. We get that field position. That's huge. But, it's McCarthy's. You can't blame him, though, because we've been getting those first downs all the way, on all of the games. So it's just hard for him. He had confidence in his offense, but sometimes you have to know your team. You have to see, are we okay? Like, how's the energy with the team? How are we? Yeah. Engage it off of that and make game time decisions. I think you're scripted so much. When you're scripted and be like, okay, if it's this and this, we're going for it. If it's this and this and we're here, we're going for it. And when he looks at his piece of paper and it's scripted, oh, it's 4th and whatever, this says my paper from when I did the scheme during the week says go for it, I'm going for it. Sometimes go off a script. Know your team. Know the energy of your team and say, it's not, I can't. Even though my script says go for it, I can't. I don't feel it. He's got to make those decisions sometimes.
Hey, Sean, the question was, what I noticed too, like Diggs, like when he got beat on that one touchdown, man, I mean, the coverage was there. It's just that it just seemed like, I don't know, dude, does it seem to you that his ankle is not 100%? Because he just seems like, I don't know, that speed was there, but then all of a sudden it wasn't. Like, or was that just a good throw by Bridgewater? Was it just a great throw, or do you think it was just? What do you think, man? Do you think he's hurting on that ankle right now?
He definitely looked like he didn't look week 2, 3, or 4. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He did look like he was a little bit slower, maybe even a little timid. Maybe this was the game to sit him out. We were talking about that earlier, but I don't know. Like Ryan's been saying, he's aggressive. He'll take chances that. And this is why he's been so successful because he's taken those chances and he's been successful. But you're not always you're going to get beat sometimes. And this is what Ryan's been saying the whole time is he's going to get beat sometimes. He's going to get beat because he's so aggressive. And guess what? It happened.
Yeah, it did.
And what you said about the script, I think everybody's script when it's 4th and 2 from your own 20, you're going to kick the field goal, dude. So I just don't understand that. I still don't get it. Lucha Libre Joy, what, in your opinion, what happened on defense? Then what went wrong?
I just think a lot of the guys up front, like Sean said, a lot of the guys that have been out that came in, they were trying to work those guys into the scheme too. And like, I don't know, man, they just seem like the Denver offensive line, man, because I saw all the guys when I was watching, they were on roller skates, dude. They weren't withstanding their blocks. They were getting pushed around, and like even our DNs, our good DNs, were getting fucking pushed around too, man. Like they just looked like they were mauling us every time. Like every time they ran on us, dude. They just were. I don't know. We just didn't have that aggressiveness. Don't get me wrong. A few times we made some good plays where we got them outside their backfield. We did all right a few times, but other than that, overall through the whole game, man, that's one thing I noticed. I kept watching was that D line, man. The D-line was just on the roller skates almost the whole game, bro. They just weren't like they were in the past 6 weeks, bro. They just weren't.
Yeah, if you watch the game, Denver came out with 2 tight end formation, dude. And they said, we're going to ram it down your throat. Yep. And our run defense is terrible. And we didn't make adjustments, or we did, and it didn't work. It was just they ran for what, 190 on us, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, or didn't they go over 200?
I think they went 190, but it was either way, it was terrible. They ran all over us. Yeah. We made Teddy Bridgewater look like a Pro Bowler at times, and we do a good job of making quarterbacks look like Pro Bowlers. I don't know why, dude. But I'll tell you what. The defense, and Joey, you're probably not gonna agree with me.
I know.
They're not as good as we thought they were, dude. They're really not. I'm not saying they're trash. They're way better than last year. Okay, but they're not as good as we thought they were. And did Denver give other teams on offense and defense the blueprint on how to beat the Cowboys? Because head coach for the Broncos says, I know how to coach them. I know how to beat them. Nobody else does. He sounds like an idiot, but is that the blueprint to play vanilla on defense and to run it down our throats on offense?
We just had a bad week, man. Don't get me wrong. If we look like this against Atlanta at home next week, then they're really going to start questioning us. But if we come out and we blow away Atlanta, Matty Ice, and all them, then they're going to go back to like, okay, the Cowboys just had a
it's a copycat league, right? So they're going to find out what Denver did and going to try to do the exact same thing on us. So look for Atlanta to try to run the ball. And we're going to get into that right now. But before we get to Falcons. So injuries report. Randy Gregory out. We just found out he's going to be on IR for 3 freaking games, dude.
Fucking sucks.
That's a huge loss, dude. Huge loss. Greg
Is
DeLeg is out.
Is D-Law closer?
I haven't heard anything about that guy, dude. Greg DeLeg is out, and we signed that kicker we had in preseason. Better than Maher, because I can't believe they were thinking about signing Maher again.
Really? They were actually thinking about it.
They brought him in. They brought both of them in for a tryout. Tyron Smith is out. Good thing is Michael Gallup's coming back. But I mean, that's great, but we need more help on the defensive side. And now we don't have our 2 bookend defensive ends. D-Laws hasn't been there, and then Gregory's out.
Hey, Ryan, do you think they're going to go now with Gregory out? Will we see more DN from Michael Parsons?
I think you are. I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see that. This is where Jalen Smith comes into play. He's no longer there, so your depth is, I don't know. Your depth.
By the way, you were talking about that other linebacker.
They're going to have to use Luke Gifford. Luke Gifford to come in and play that role. But you know what? And we're going to get to the Falcons right now, and we're going to get to predictions. But I'll tell you right now, I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, because our upcoming schedule, to me, and it doesn't seem like it because the NFC East is so shitty. To me, this is almost a must-win for us. And let me tell you why. Because it's NFC opponent, so you don't want to lose to an NFC opponent because you want home field advantage throughout the playoffs or whatnot. And number 2, the Chiefs are they're coming along now. That we play the Chiefs next, and then after that we play the Raiders. So, and those aren't gimmies; those are 2 good teams.
Not a gimme, right?
So you pretty much have to win this game, because if let's just say we lose this game, that's 2 in a row we lose. What if we lose 1 to the Chiefs and we beat the Raiders? You just lost 3 out of the last 4. And NFC's catching up. They win some games here, and now they're only a game behind. And we still have to play them, the Giants twice and the Redskins twice. Or no, the Giants once and Redskins twice and the Eagles one more time. You still got to play them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this almost must win? Is it a must win? What's your opinion, Sean?
I wouldn't say it's a must win.
What's your opinion, Sean?
Yeah, we got to win this game, because you're exactly right. We got some tough opponents coming up after this. If it's a game to win, it's definitely this. Now, I mean, you call it a revenge game, call it whatever, but they better come hyped for this game, knowing that, hey, we just got humbled big time. The thing I'm scared of is when Matty Ice throws 343 yards last week for 2 touchdowns, he just curved up a pretty good Saints defense.
I agree.
What's he going to do to our defense? I mean, it's going to be a test for our DBs for sure. Now, as far as the running game, they just don't got one. They flat out don't have a running game. I mean, I looked at how many yards they had. I mean, last week you could see that their top guy had 12 yards. They just don't have a running game. But also, we need to go back to that the defense where we have more secondary out there and pressure Matt Ryan. We got to pressure him. Yep. We got to get the ball out of his hands. When he has more than 3 seconds to throw the ball, he's lethal. He's deadly. He'll find a way. And it's just this is a huge game, I think. We got to win.
I think it's a must win, and Matty Ice tears us up every time. He's going to throw for over 300 yards. He's going to. He did that to the Saints. He does it to us every year. Doesn't matter what receivers he has. He's going to throw for over 300 yards. I'm not worried about our offense. I think our offense will take care of business. I'm worried about our defense. Like I said, they're not as good as advertised. So it's going to be it's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be a gimme. Like Sean said, they just beat the Saints, and that defense is one of the top defenses in the NFL, and he just carved them up. So,
don't get me wrong, right? I think I'm not saying that. I don't want to win this game. Let's win this game. But the thing is, I'm just saying, is it life threatening if we lose? No, we're still 6-3 after that. Still have a 3-game lead in the division. It's not like it's mandatory, but I know what you're saying though. I mean, we gotta have some good momentum going into the Chiefs and then all those other games.
I just picture if we lose to the Falcons, and what happens if we lose to the Chiefs and the Raiders? You just lost 4 in a row, and now you're 6-5. Are you kidding me? That's very dangerous. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. I feel
to me, this is a must win, and I'm gonna get right into it. I just text T. His prediction for the score is Cowboys 27, Falcons 20. I'm gonna go with you, Sean. What are your predictions for the game on Sunday?
I think it's going to be closer than everyone thinks. I think Matty Ice is, like you said, he's going to go over 300. They don't have really running game. Patterson, we got to put him in check. I think we got to put, we just got to do a good job on Patterson and keep him at bay. But I think it's going to be 32-24. Going to be a very close game. They're going to score some points. We're going to score some points, but I think an 8-point deficit is going to be right there, 32-24.
Lucha Libre Joy, what's your prediction? What's your score?
I say Cowboys win 31-24.
Okay, I'm a little disappointed in Tyler because he thinks our offense is only going to score 27 points on that defense. That's I think we'll score more than that.
Yeah.
So my prediction is it's crazy because I'm like Sean. I'm scared of this game, to be honest with you. I'm not as confident as you guys. So believe it or not, I'm gonna go Cowboys 31, Atlanta 30, dude. I think it's gonna be that close.
That close?
I think it's gonna be that close, dude. And as Cowboy fans, we know, like Stephen A. says, they'll let you down, and what could go wrong goes wrong with the Cowboys. And I hope last week was just an outlier, and we just came out and no energy or whatnot. But if we come out with no energy again and we lose this game, hey man, we're in trouble. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If we lose this game, we're in trouble.
You think we're in trouble?
I think we're in trouble if we lose this game, dude.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I think we are.
I think we are because we got two more. It's gonna be, and then we still got to play the Saints after that. So, dude.
Yeah, but what about the fact that you know how we are though sometimes, all right? Some of the teams that they know we should just beat, whatever, we put it on their level. But when we know it's a good contender like the Chiefs.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen Sunday.
What if they elevate during that?
Okay, but that's going to happen Sunday. We should beat them, and then we come out flat again. That's what you're saying right now. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough one, guys. I'm not confident about it. That's why I said it's could be such a close game. 31-24. No, I say 31-30. Hopefully you guys are right. Hopefully I'm dead wrong. And the spread is 9. I think that's ridiculous. If I was a betting man and I was in the Cowboy fan, I would pick the Atlanta to cover the 9 points. I'm sorry, that's what I would do. Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see who's right. Once again, before we go, OC hard hitters of Spoons, Dyer out to 55, diehard Cowboy fans. Go over there and check them out. Chapman's Brewery in Orange off of Glasell and Chapman. Go see Randy. Good beer, good food. And we'll see what happens. We'll come back and hopefully we have a good show next week and we'll take it from there. And we'll have Tyler back on and we'll see what happens. But that's it, man. Dallas Cowboys Tape for Lucha Libre Joey, Sean, and myself, Ryu. Go boys, and we'll see you next time.
Boys.